This is Tracking the Tropics.
1 year later, the impacts from catastrophic Hurricane Michael linger in the Florida Panhandle. Hey there, everyone. Storm Teammate meteorologist Amanda Hawley here on this special edition of Tracking the Tropics to take a look at how the Panhandle is doing just 365 days after the Category 5 storm slammed into the coastline. I'm joined alongside WFLA's reporter Daisy Ruth, who is actually in Mexico Beach for the past couple of days, seeing how they're doing. We're going to go out to her. She's going to be showing us how businesses are recovering and actually giving us some live video from there. I'm also joined alongside WFLA's digital data reporter, Kelsey Sunderland, who has done a lot of research today on the insurance claims that are still left open a year after Hurricane Michael slammed into the coast. And I'm sure you guys are going to be very surprised by those numbers. First, though, yesterday we showed you some pictures that happened just after Hurricane Michael moved through the Panhandle. And today I want to send it out to Daisy Ruth. She's going to show us what it looks like 1 year later. Daisy, tell us what you've experienced, the people that you've talked to. You talked to the mayor, you've talked to businesses to see how they're doing. Let's go out to you.
Well, Amanda, you talked about surprising, and I'm not entirely sure exactly what I expected when we got here to Mexico Beach yesterday, but it seems like for everything that is being rebuilt, there is something still left in rubble. And to me, that was very, very surprising. I will go right ahead and turn this camera around and show you what I am standing in front of right now. This used to be a restaurant, and as you can see, it is completely left in rubble. There are still chairs. If you look over, I don't want to get too close because there is kind of a line keeping us across to keep everybody safe. There are still tables and chairs just left standing from when Michael rolled through, just as you said, 365 days ago. The patio, the porch here is still intact, but it's just been very surprising to us, our crews out here, how much is still left destroyed. I mean, we talked to the mayor of Mexico Beach here yesterday, and he told us that out of the 1,200 residents here, that only about 400 are left. And as you can see here, these business owners just never came back. It'd be maybe too difficult to see what you've worked for your whole life to open a business, just too difficult to come back and actually see what was left standing. And another thing that I think is very interesting, there are no restaurants open, no sit-down restaurants open here in Mexico Beach. Obviously, we talked to the mayor. He let us know there's no hotels, not even a gas station or a grocery store. So there are definitely no sit-down restaurants. But the people of Mexico Beach are moving forward. This is Mango Marley's, I believe. They've actually been operating out of a little food truck here in front of their location that they are still working to rebuild a year later. So we're going to go over here probably to lunch today and try and talk to some people. There are a lot of workers still left out here, so these few food trucks are feeding these workers. We saw a lot yesterday that there are a lot of people rebuilding homes. The mayor of Mexico Beach told us there actually are more buyers than property sellers out here. So that is a positive here in Mexico Beach. And it is a absolutely beautiful area. And it's just really devastating to see all of this damage. It's just been very, very surprising to me, just a year later. But as the mayor told us, it's going to take a lot longer than a year to drive down Highway 98, which a portion of it actually just reopened last week or the week before. So these folks here in Mexico Beach are still struggling, but the people we've talked to, the business owners, they are very positive. We have a couple businesses open over here, kind of down to my right, and it's just, it's a little overwhelming. These people are very excited to be open amidst all of this damage. There are a couple businesses open right down here next to this destroyed restaurant, and they're very positive, and they want everybody. I think the biggest thing that I want everybody to know watching this stream is Mexico Beach is open. Mexico Beach is open. There are a few businesses open. The beaches are beautiful. we're staying down in Panama City. Hotels in Panama City are still open while things are being rebuilt here in Mexico Beach, so you can still visit. The sands are white, the water's blue, it's gorgeous. You're still able to get some food to support these local businesses here that are operating out of food trucks and still trying to make a living, guys.
Wow, those pictures and videos are crazy that you're seeing on your screen right now. This was from 1 year ago, but the videos that Daisy has just shown you, I mean, it's incredible to see that some places are still that badly damaged, and then to only hear that 400 people are left after the storm kind of moved through and did so much damage to them. So these pictures that you're seeing on your screen right now, these were from 1 year ago, but the video that Daisy just showed us from a couple of those businesses didn't look a whole lot different, because maybe they weren't one of the folks who came back. And maybe that was because, some of their insurance claims haven't been filled yet. And Kelsey's here to kind of fill us in on just how many people are still waiting on these claims to be filled and filed by their insurance. They're maybe kind of beating around the bush. I don't know. Kelsey, kind of give us an insight to what you have been researching so far today, and tell us what you found.
Yeah, Amanda. So we're talking about 20,000 insurance claims that are still in limbo from people across 15 counties along the Panhandle. There's an estimate of over $7 billion, or approximately $7 billion in insured losses, and that's coming from the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation, who is kind of the state level entity that is overseeing this progress, or almost lack of progress that's happening after Hurricane Michael. We are looking at numbers for the insurance claims that are coming out of Bay County specifically. As we know, that's ground zero. That's where Mexico Beach is located. That's where Daisy is at. They started out with just over 88,000 claims. And those are coming from homes, businesses, business interruption, all kinds of losses. And there are still 15,000 claims in Bay County alone. And, that's 17% that haven't been resolved. So actually over the summer, our state CFO, Jimmy Petronis, he's originally from the Panhandle, he was really pushing legislators to create a more efficient recovery process across the board. As far as insurance law goes, these people are having kind of a tough time because the law gets kind of hazy. Florida law for insurance says that insurance companies have to pay out after 90 days, but that's 90 days after the estimate is agreed upon by both the insurance company and the claimant, which makes things kind of difficult because these insurance companies are taking a very, very long time to provide an estimate to these residents who are facing devastating loss. And I know Daisy was speaking about businesses, and most of the claims that are still open are coming from commercial property. So those business owners and those people who are, even patrons of those businesses are, they've been waiting a year. They're probably going to be waiting quite a bit longer based on the way things are going now.
And it seems like this is not unusual when we have a big event like this, a big catastrophe. Things take a long time. We understand that. But for that amount of people, for that amount of unfiled or unfinished insurance claims, it's just unfortunate for that city in general, because you want the people to move back, you want the people to start to rebuild so that town can get back to normal. But the slower those insurance claims come in and then they're finished, the slower the town can actually rebuild. I want to mention the video that you're seeing right now just came into the newsroom, again, from our reporters that are up in Panama City right now. And this was drone footage that they took yesterday and today. And you can see that this is, again, still right now sand, just a lot of sand. There's some, roofs still trying to be rebuilt and refurnished. And again, obviously those businesses that are not even attempting to rebuild at this time. So Daisy, you talked to the mayor yesterday. She's hopeful.
He's very hopeful. He understands it is going to take a little bit more time. He basically said a year after a Category 5 hurricane hits your city is no time at all. He estimates, he told myself and reporter Ryan Hughes, that he expects things to start getting back to normal as you can be after a Cat 5 slams into your city in about 3 to 5 years. So
Wow.
just after a year, it's really no time at all to him, and he understands things are going to take time. But as Kelsey was saying with those insurance claims, people aren't coming back. So these business owners are struggling. They have no locals, they have no tourists, they have no real ability to get tourists because there are no hotels open here. So he is confident. He loves the city. He is a small business owner himself. He's in the hardware business. So he understands. He understands, I think, better than most people would about how small business owners and locals here are struggling.
Well, that's good that he can relate to, the residents of that town. And unfortunately, the tourism would be booming. We saw in this video that, the beaches are still beautiful. It's usable.
They're fabulous.
Heading inland, there's just no way to get to these beaches. There's no way to stay there and really enjoy them. But it's good news that, there are a couple businesses like the food trucks. They're doing whatever they can to kind of stay in business. And obviously they're doing well if they're one of a couple that, are there. Even if there's no sit down restaurants, people are still, at least helping that businesses. And it's just, I feel like it's just a round circle of, everybody helping each other, which is good news.
It is. That's what we've definitely seen here. Business owners are supporting other local business owners. It's just a lot of support. They're actually having an event over at the food truck location that I just showed you. There's going to be an anniversary commemorative event here for the citizens that are still left here in Mexico Beach. There's going to be actually, Jimmy Patronis is scheduled to be here. The mayor hopes that Governor DeSantis will be here as well. So everybody here in Mexico Beach is going to come together tonight to support each other.
And Daisy has a lot more on WFLA.com as well as our app. She's spoken to several residents out there, and she has some interviews and talking to those residents to see how they're feeling. You can look at those right now at WFLA.com and on our app as well. And she's going to be out there for the rest of the day. And I believe she's going to go to that event tonight and kind of give us a view of what is happening out there tonight as well. And Kelsey's report the full report is also going to be on WFLA.com and the app. When do you think that will come out, Kelsey? When do you think you'll finish those findings?
We're looking at about 3:00. I've got a few calls to make about to local attorneys. A lot of these people who are filing claims, because they've waited so long, those who can have lawyered up and are now taking action legally, going up against these insurance companies. So I'm going to kind of talk to them, get their perspective, and try and figure out where these people go from here. I mean, they're a year out and they're still devastated, and they're all really just trying to rebuild, and we're hoping that these insurance companies get a move on.
And at least for all the people that are still dealing with, these open claims, at least they know that they're not alone, and not alone at all. There's plenty to go around. But I think we're going to wrap up this Facebook Live, this edition of Tracking the Tropics. If you're watching here on this website or this app, thank you for tuning in. We don't want the Panhandle to be forgotten at this point, because it is 1 year later and there's still a long ways to go. Like Daisy said, 3 to 5 years before, maybe the city is back to normal. She's in Mexico Beach at this point. But, the Panama City area and just that general vicinity of the Florida Panhandle, all the way up through I-10 and even into southwestern Georgia, they experienced those significant impacts. So this is 1 year later from Hurricane Michael. We're going to have more coming up tonight on our newscasts as well. Ryan is going to be out there, and he's going to be live giving us some new information if you want to tune in for that. For now, though, we thank you for joining us. Thank you, Daisy, for showing us what's going on right now there, that live video. And thank you, Kelsey, for giving us those numbers on the insurance claims that are just mind-boggling with how much still is there to be done. For now, we're going to sign it off, and we hope you join us for next week's regularly scheduled edition of Tracking the Tropics Wednesdays right here on this app or this website platform at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. Thanks, Daisy. Thanks, Kelsey. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Tracking the Tropics.